Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we took on the St. Louis Blues in the first round, and we had quite an easy time despite them looking like a team that would easily cheese us. As you can see, we took them out in only 5 games, and it was a pretty dominant victory in that series for us. As you can see, Game 1 we won 7-4, then we lost 3-2, but 3 straight wins. A nice 4-2 win, 5-4 win, and a 5-3 win get us the victory. So our offense was really great. The only problem was near the end of the series, we did lose Jaqueezi to injury till May the 10th, so he will be missing the first, 4 games of the series, which is pretty impactful considering Chicago is a very solid team. Now, what's interesting is Chicago is 9-1 in our last 10 games going into the playoffs, just like us. So both these two teams were on a bit of a heater to end the season. Obviously, they finished a little bit below us, but they are still a very good roster, and they do have a couple former players, which is also very interesting. If we go to the roster right now, which I'll show you guys right now, and then we'll get into your guys' comments. They have basically some very, very solid talent, as you can see here with their top line of Ehlers, Bedard, and Holtz. Ehlers obviously used to play with us. He's near the end of his career, so he's one of the former players that used to play with us. But also, we made a trade the last offseason, and basically, you can see they have Lassi Rantanen, our former top 6 defenseman. He's playing down there. Hasn't been the best defenseman with them so far, but he's still only 24, so he could get better for sure. He's been okay here in the playoffs so far up to this point as well. And of course, they do have our former starting goaltender, Logan Scarlett, who we dealt to them just because obviously we wanted to run with Stanley King instead. And Scarlett has been an interesting goalie. He didn't have necessarily the best regular season, but it wasn't terrible by any standard. And in playoff-wise so far, he hasn't really been that great with an .891 save percentage through 7 games. So I'm hoping that we can kind of take advantage of the fact that we know him and be able to beat him. So we got to beat a couple former players and then also contain Connor Bedard and Holtz. And also I'd say Dante Guerin if we want to win this series, because I think Connor Bedard's definitely going to be tough to contain. He's coming off 111 points this season, which is kind of outrageous, and he's got 9 points through 7 playoff games up to this point in time. So if we can contain him, it gives us a better shot at getting ourselves to that conference finals. But obviously, if we can't contain him, that's where we're going to get into a bit of a problem. And like I said, with Jaqueezi being injured till the 10th and being out for the first 3-4 games of the series, it's a pretty major blow. However, guys like Caden Wilson have stepped up drastically here in the playoffs so far. As you can see here, he had a 60-point regular season, but a 7 points in 5 games in the first round, so hopefully he continues to do so in the second round. And also, Philip Grosek was really good in the first round, stepping up because of Aiden Irving's injury at the end of the season. He had 9 points in 5 games, so hopefully those guys continue to do what they've been doing, and hopefully we could get some other guys to step up as well, kind of like Enroth, Eberle, even Bickle a little bit more. And obviously get ourselves somehow back into a conference finals appearance. And then once we get Jaqueezi back, hopefully Jaqueezi does what he does best, and that is score goals and also play good defensively and offensively. You can see he had a really good regular season again. However, playoff-wise so far, he is still struggling at the playoff department. He only had 1 goal in 4 games. He also had 15 penalty minutes, 3 fights in those 4 games. So you can probably see why he got injured, but hopefully when he comes back, he could actually contribute offensively, because he's not been really that good of a playoff player in his career. He's been more of a regular season guy as of the last 2 seasons. So hopefully he will come back and be much better for us once he does return. But obviously we got to win without him for now and hope that we could get those wins when he's not in the lineup, because obviously if we don't, we're going to be in a bit of a hole when he does come back. So anyways, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into the second round matchup with the Chicago Blackhawks. So our only comment is from Sandro Otaku. Says, solid overall performance by the team. Your coach only rolls 3 lines, so it's not surprising you'll get complaints from your 4th liners about ice time. Not sure if there's any way to change that strategy since they've been good when they've been out there. You may also want to see if there's any adjustments to the penalty kill you can make to improve it, since that aspect of your game wasn't outstanding. And yeah, the penalty kill wasn't the best in that first round, so maybe we will go ahead and see if there's any adjustments we could do to it. I mean, it could figure itself out here in the second round, or who knows, maybe in the conference finals if we get there. But Goldman and Cam, I think, is fine, because Cam only played 1 game. He's +1. Goldman was okay. So I think this power play unit, this first one, is decent, or penalty kill unit, I mean, my bad. Groshek does not really fit the penalty kill. That's one thing that we could maybe change up, is taking him off the penalty kill. Because like everybody else, then Luke Misa doesn't really fit it either, which is interesting. Okay. So if I took Luke Misa and Groshek off the penalty kill, would they be okay with their ice time? Probably, because they're getting power play time too. But we need to figure out who we would be putting in these situations. Obviously, Jacuzzi would be coming back to replace Cam at some point. None of these guys really make much sense. Eberle could make sense actually on the penalty kill because he's a two-way. Let's try and get Eberle onto this penalty kill unit. Okay, there we go. That works. So we do got a nice little addition there. Actually, he did work on the third unit. That's right. He was already on the third unit. How about right wing wise? Not really anybody there I would put on it. Yeah, we don't really have a lot of two-way forwards when you think about it. Is Fairchild good defensively? No, not really. What about Wilson? Is he good defensively? Not really. Gotta look at the defensive awareness on some of these guys, and maybe that will help us out here. Bickle has 86 defensive awareness. That's actually pretty damn solid. So if I take Luke Meese off the penalty kill and give Bickle some penalty kill time, that works out better. Obviously, Eberle is now getting double shifted. But if I look at like Enroth has actually good defensive awareness, but not shot blocking and stuff. So I will put him on the penalty kill. And he doesn't fit it that well. Okay. There's got to be somebody that does fit it well, right? That has good awareness. Landon's an 83 defensive awareness, which is not too bad. Lucius, how about you? 84. Really good stick checking. That might help it out a little bit. And it's better than the other one. Yeah, I think we'll go with something like that. So Bickle and Lucius, Eberle and Misa, and then obviously it's going to be Goldman and Jacuzzi once Jacuzzi's back to replace Dennis Cam. So I think that's the only additions or adjustments we're going to make to our penalty kill, and hope that our penalty kill could play a little bit better, because obviously if we let the Blackhawks power play get going with Connor Bedard and all that, that's when we're definitely going to fall flat. So anyways, there's our adjustments. Let's get into game one of round number 2 and see if we could find ways to win against this Chicago Blackhawks team, which has won Stanley Cups in the past, so they are a very solid team. Also, hopefully we can beat our former players, because I am a little bit scared about that, considering Scarlett could get redemption on us for trading him. Rantanen as well, and in Ehlers, obviously we traded him away quite a few years back, so I don't really care too much about going up against Nick Ehlers, because we've done it before, but going up against Scarlett and Rantanen is an interesting one, because it's going to be like, was that trade a good trade, or was it the wrong time for that trade, or should we trade Scarlett to a different team instead, you know? But here we go, game number 1 in our home ice, because we have home ice advantage, obviously, for the entire playoffs. So let's see if we can get off to a good start here in round 2. First period of game number 1. 2-1 us. Hey, that's a good start. Michael Misa with both of our goals. Dante Guerin actually opened the scoring for the Blackhawks. But good to see Misa scoring 2 goals, and they were 31 seconds apart. So Michael Misa having maybe one of his best games of the postseason up to this point, because he's been kind of more of a passer in the playoffs so far and in the regular season, but he has 2 goals here in the opening 20 minutes. Shots are 11-10 in favor of us. We should know Logan Scarlett's weakness, so that's where I'm hoping that we're able to score some goals on him, is because obviously he's been our goaltender for a few years, so maybe we'll able to find that defensive weakness in a sense, and also we know how Rantanen plays defensively too, so hopefully we can take advantage of that. Let's see if we can get some insurance in the second period to make us have a better chance in the third, and hopefully we just have a good second period in general. Just don't allow them to get back into this game if possible. Second period, 3-3. That's not what I wanted to see. They took the lead, Ehlers and Spence, but Luke Misa answers back for us. So the Misas have both of our goals, or technically all of our goals at this point. Shots are 21-19. We had the lead. We blew it. They had the lead. They blew it. Who knows what the heck is going to happen in the third period. It's been a pretty even game up to this point in time. Hopefully we can find a way to get that lead in the third period. Let's see what happens. Come on, guys. We know how Scarlett performs. Let's find a weakness and score another goal on him. Let's score another goal on him. Let's go, Fairchild. Fairchild scoring one of his first goals of his playoff career. It might be his first. I don't know if he scored in the last round. Don't remember. But it is good to see all lines kind of clicking still. We have a 4-3 lead late here. Can we lock it down? Yes, we can. Let's go. We take game 1 on home ice against the Blackhawks. as Fairchild gets the game-winning goal. Final shots were 35-28 in favor of us. Let's go. That's a pretty solid first game. Obviously not like the most dominant obviously not the most dominant victory in the world, but still we managed to hold Bedard off the score sheet, which is great. So Misa from Groshek, Misa from Lucius and Groshek, and then we had Luke Misa from Wilson and Enroth, and the game-winning goal was Fairchild's first ever playoff goal from Eberle and Bickle. Let's go. Let's go. So Michael Misa the first star, Groshek the second star, and Fairchild the third star. So yeah, that was a pretty solid first game. Let me actually take a look at Chicago's stats for fun, just to see if Rantanen was minus. Yep, he was -2 in that game. Only played 12 minutes against us, but he was a -2. And then Logan Scarlett wasn't the best, so good to see our former players not playing too well. And then obviously, like I said, we held Connor Bedard off the score sheet, which is great. But who knows what's going to happen in the next game. Palin also lost morale because of ice time. That's not good. We need to make sure he's getting ice time. Maybe I'll give him a higher chance in the penalty kill. Let me see here. Because I think he's in our top 4 already, right? Yeah, he is. So if I go to a penalty kill... Oh, he's on the first penalty kill. I don't know why he's complaining then. It's not like I could give him power play time as a DFD. He should be on this unit too. Yeah, he should be getting enough ice time. Like, how much ice time a game is he getting? 18 minutes. He wants to be up there probably where, like, Kairu is. I mean, I can do that if I wanted to, but I don't know if I will. And you know what? We're going to just do it just to see if we could get Palin to be a little bit more happy. Even though we've been a good defensive team right now, I just wanted to make a little adjustment here. And yeah, Stanley King has been still not the best goaltender in the world, but he has obviously been the better of the two at the moment. Obviously, Johnny Grant hasn't played a game yet, but if King obviously goes on a bad stretch, we might turn to the AHL goaltender, which is interesting. So there is that. That's game number 1. We're going to keep the team obviously the same for game number 2, considering we just won that game. Let's see if we have a good game 2 as well and continue this trend. We're 5-1 here in the playoffs. It would be nice to take a 2-0 series lead in Chicago, or against Chicago, and then obviously heading to their building. Hopefully we can find a way to win at least one of those 2 games. So here you go, game 2 on home ice. Let's see what we could do here. Hopefully we could have another solid effort. First period of game number 2. 1-1. Hey, I'll take it. Pretty much the same thing as last game in a sense. Ehlers opens the scoring for them. Eberle scores for us. So Ehlers has been doing pretty good against us as a former player, but obviously, like I said, I don't really care too much about Nick Ehlers being against us now because he's been gone from us for quite a while at this point. It's just the other guys that I'm a little bit more worried about. Shots are 17-6 for us after 1, but we only scored 1 goal. So Logan Scarlett had a very good first period for them, so it looks like he's trying to get some redemption for how he played last game. Hopefully that means that we're not going to just all of a sudden lose like 3-1 or something like that, and our team's not going to be able to score. Hopefully we can find a way to get some goals in the second period, because we dominated that first period, but we have a tie game, so that's not great. Let's see what happens in the second period. Second period, 4-2 for us. Let's go. That's a great period. Logan Scarlett could not contain himself. We're out shooting him 37-11, but they're still within 2 goals, which kind of scares me. Groshek scores on the power play, and then you have Connor Bedard scoring his first goal of the playoffs, or not of the playoffs, but of this round, I should say. Luke Misa then scores a power play goal, and a goal with 20 seconds left from Bickle. That's a very big one, because we would have only been up by only a goal going into this third period, but that late goal helps us have a 2-goal advantage. So shout out to Bickle. Let's see if we can get some more insurance in this third period and lock it down, because they are still close into this game despite us out shooting them by a wide margin. Penalty kill. Long penalty kill. And we killed it off. Good job, penalty killers. But then Rasmussen scores right afterwards. Not ideal. Power play for us. We don't score on that. Final 5 minutes. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties in the third period, boys. Thank you. And there's a huge empty net goal from Groshek to make it 5-3. And we are going to take a 2-0 series lead to Chicago. That's a very solid way to start off with. Obviously, they've been scoring a decent amount of goals, but we've been able to outscore them, which is the good thing. We outshot them 42-25, so they definitely came on a little bit in the third period, but we managed to hold them off, which is great. So Eberle from Vandermeer, Groshek from Kyrou and Lucius, Misa from Wilson and Groshek, Bickle from Vernarski and Fairchild, and Groshek from Lucius and Misa. So Connor Bedard's only got a goal and an assist through 2 games here against us. Maybe he's going to be much better on their home ice. Hopefully not. But a 3-point effort from Groshek, 2 points from Lucius, a bunch of guys on 1 point. Looks like a couple guys are -2, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, Stanley King really still hasn't been the best playoff goaltender in the world, but it is what it is. He's winning games, so I'm going to keep him in for now. Obviously, if he was losing games, on the other hand, maybe I would turn to Grant, but not right now. Let me take a look at those 3 stars of the game. First star, Groshek. Second star, Bickle. And a third star, Eberle. Yeah, that late goal by Bickle was a very big one for our team as well, because that technically was the game-winning goal. Okay. So a 2-0 series lead. We're outscoring them 9-6. So it's been pretty even this series so far up to this point in time. But we've been able to edge out the closer games in a way. We are now 6-1 in the playoffs. Currently, Anaheim's up 2-0 on Vancouver. New Jersey's up 2-0 on Columbus. Remember, we have their first round pick this year. We also have Detroit's. And then Tampa and Boston are tied at 1 as well. Do we need to make any adjustments? Probably not, right? Probably not, since we just won 2 games in a row. Yeah, let's keep the team the exact same for Game 3. If we lose the game, maybe that's when I'll make some adjustments. But right now, team seems to be doing well. So let's get into Game 3 and see if we can continue to win games. And once Jaquezie comes back, like I said, hopefully he could be a positive impact to this team. But here we go. First period of game number 3 as we head into Chicago. Let's see what happens. First period. 2-1 us. Good start. Good start. Dennis Cam. Let's go. Opens the scoring. That's nice to see, considering he's replacing Jaquezie right now. Tapper tied it up for them, but Enroth gives us the lead. So it's really nice to see all of our lines kind of contributing to the offense this playoff run so far. That's the difference between a good team and a bad team, is the amount of goals you get from every single line. If you could get to goals from everybody, that really definitely goes a long way. Shots are 12-9 in favor of Chicago, but we're up by a pair of goals, or not a pair of goals, by 1 goal. And not a great start for both goaltenders, I would say. Actually, maybe King's been okay in the first period, but for Logan Scarlett of the Blackhawks, 2 goals on 9 shots is probably not what he wants to do in this situation. Let's see what happens in the second period, see if we can get some more insurance and have a safer lead going into the third period. Second period. 5-1 us. Let's go. I feel like we might get reverse swept, though. I don't know. I'm just getting kind of a little bit paranoid because of my, my Halifax series. I almost said my Anchorage series. My Halifax series, because, like, over a season ago, got reverse swept, and now I just don't know when a reverse sweep is coming next. But Eberle with 2 goals in that second period. He's been great, actually. And then Luke Misa as well with a goal. We're up by 4 goals going into the third period with the shots 27-20. Let's just lock this game down here in the third period, and then hopefully we can find out a way to close them out in the next game. But we're playing great hockey right now, completely dominating as Järvinen gets a power play goal to make it 5-2. Ehlers gets one as well to make it 5-3. Not ideal, guys. Come on, Stanley King. You got to hold them off, man. This is not on the defense. This is on... Oh, my goodness. Are you serious? Okay, Luke Misa, thank you for the answer. And we're going to take a 3-0 series lead. Stanley King has been dreadful. We had a 5-1 lead, and then he blew it, and it was a 5-5 game. But a late goal by Logan, or not Logan, what am I saying? I was going to say Logan Scarlett, but Luke Misa gives us the win with only a $1.29 left. Final shots were 36-35. That one extra shot was the difference. But blowing a 5-1 lead, I don't put that on our defense, I would say. I put that on the goaltending, because that should not have happened. But Cam from Misa and Lannon. We had Enroth from Misa and Wilson. And then we also had Eberle from Wilson and Misa. Misa from Lannon and Lucius. Eberle from Vernarski and Misa. Jeez. And then Misa from Kyrou and Wilson. Did Luke Misa and Michael Misa just have both crazy games, or what? Luke Misa had 5 points in that game, so it wasn't even Michael Misa. Michael Misa had 1 assist. Luke Misa with a 5-point effort in a big game like that. Without him, we would have lost that game for sure. Wilson on 3 assists, Eberle on 2 goals, Lannon on 2 assists is really nice, considering he's also drew into the lineup. Any badly minus guys in that game? No, only a couple -1s, and it was the 4th line and the 3rd line a little bit. But yeah, Stanley King was not good. That 857 save percentage is dreadful. We're obviously going to keep him in because he's winning games, but there's a chance we might go to Grant sometime soon. So Misa the first star, Eberle the second star, and Wilson the third star. So Jaquezie I don't think is going to be back this game, but he will be back the next one, hypothetically, if there's a game 5, right? Enroth was never injured, wasn't he? I don't think. Must have been, yeah, he was just probably banged up after that last game. So we are 7-1 in the playoffs, and we have a chance to close out Chicago in 5 games. Or in 4 games. We took out St. Louis in 5 games, that's what I meant to say. Damn, okay. Do I want to change goaltenders based on how that last game was for Stanley King? Kind of. But I don't know if it's the right move or not. Because I'm not going to put that on the defense. Because he's got an 884 save percentage. He needs to be much better. You know what? I'm going to give Stanley King a break. I know we're technically up 3-0 in the series. This is where we got to test out our options. So Johnny Grant, who's only played played 3 NHL games up to this point in time, is going to start his first ever playoff game. Because maybe Stanley King just needs a little bit of a breather. And this is the type of game you do it in, where you're up 3-0 in a series. And like I said, Jaquezie will be back soon too, which is nice. But that's what we're going to run with. And there is still people on our team losing morale because of ice time. But I don't really know what I could do to get people more ice time. Like Vernarski probably wants to be in the top 4. I feel like next season, though, Cairo definitely has to leave just so we could get Vernarski into the top 4. Because or else he'll complain about his ice time a bit. Eberle has actually been way better than Enroth. Enroth only has the 3 points. So I am going to move Eberle up, Enroth down. Has a little bit of adjustment on the offensive side of things as well. But let's see what Johnny Grant could do. I know it's a little bit of a weird scenario to do that when you're up 3-0 in the series to put in your backup goaltender, but we need to kind of make a little bit of an adjustment there. Based on that third period alone, Stanley King almost blew us that game, and who knows what would have happened if Chicago would have won that game. So can we close out the Blackhawks and get ourselves to that conference finals? Let's see what happens here on the road, or are we going to go to a game 5 situation? Come on, guys, let's do this. First period of game number 4. 2-1 us. Solid start. They did open the scoring. Again, it was Connor Bedard, of course, on the power play. Eberle scores a shorthanded goal, and Cam scores his second goal of the playoffs. So he's been actually pretty decent since replacing Jaquezie. Like, he's actually outperforming Jaquezie, kind of, which is kind of weird. Shots are 15-8 in favor of the Blackhawks, but we're up by a goal. So once again, not a great start for Logan Scarlett for them. But a good start from Johnny Grant. 1 goal against on 15 shots. Obviously, I don't like that we got 15 shots against. So we got to be playing a little bit better defensively in front of Grant. But I do like the fact that we were able to score 2 goals on 8 shots. And that Grant was able to stop a lot of pucks. Let's see what happens in the second period. See if we could get some insurance to make us have a safer lead going into the third. Because we know the Blackhawks could score in bunches after we had a 5-1 lead. Just pretty much evaporate in the last third period. So let's see what happens in the second period. Second period. 4-2. Okay, I'll take it. They did tie the game up with Nick Ehlers, of course. But then Goldman scores and Eberle scores. Eberle has been fantastic here in the second round. Without him and also Luke Misa, I don't know if we would be in a position we currently are. But good to see Goldman back on the board because he hadn't scored since the first round. We're being outshot 31-15. So this is the goaltending performance I was looking for from Grant. He's been very good at this point in time. Hopefully he has a good third period as well. And then obviously I might go back to Stanley King to start the conference finals if we get there. But let's see if we could lock this game down and get ourselves to that conference finals. Let's go, boys. Bedard makes it 4-3, not ideal. Come on, boys. Got to get some insurance. You got this. I believe in you. Because we've been really solid here offensively in this series. Obviously, defense has been but it is what it is. Michael Misa makes it 5-3, but Michael Rasmussen answers back to make it 5-4. Final few minutes of this game. Power play for late for the Blackhawks, but they don't score. We are going back to the conference finals with a 5-4 win over the Blackhawks as we win in 4 games. We got outshot 42-28. But a solid performance from Grant. Not the best performance in the world, but he did make 38 saves, which is more than Stanley King probably would have made as we managed to edge out the Blackhawks. Let's go. Okay, Eberle from Misa and Vernarski, Cam from Kyrou, Goldman from Vandermeer and Lannon, Eberle from Wilson and Misa, and then Misa from Groshek and Lucius. Let's take a look at those stat lines. A couple guys on 2 points, a lot of guys on 1 point. And then let's take a look at those goaltending numbers. Yeah, Grant he wasn't terrible. He wasn't great either. The save percentage is decent enough. The goals against obviously a little bit high, but he definitely did better than what Stanley King was doing in the last game before this. Eberle gets first star of the game, Michael Misa the second star, and Connor Bedard the third star. But Bedard was doing okay against us, but he definitely wasn't as big of a factor as I thought. We managed to sweep them easily. We're now 8-1 going into the conference finals, which is pretty damn crazy. So let's take a look at our player stats through the first 2 rounds, and then obviously we will take a look at who we're going up against in the conference finals. And obviously, once Jaquezi's back to full health, we'll get him into our lineup. Luke Misa has been fantastic in the last year of his contract on 15 points through 9 games. Michael Misa has been great too with 13 points in 9 games. Lucius on 9 points, Goldman on 4, Bickle only on 4. So Bickle has been a little bit slow here, but obviously he can get going all of a sudden. I could see that. Dennis came with 2 goals in 5 games and a +3. He's actually been pretty damn solid. Left wing wise, Groshek's been fantastic with 15 points in 9 games. Eberle's been really good all of a sudden. 7 goals and 8 points in 9 games. He had a fantastic second round. He only had 14 goals in the regular season, and then this year he's got 7 goals in the playoffs now. He's been great, shooting 30.4% too. Landon on 4 assists is pretty damn good. Enroth on 3 points has been a little bit quiet. He's definitely been like one of the worser wingers. Then Caden Wilson's been fantastic. 13 points, 10 of them are assists. He's a sniper, but he's got great enough passing, I guess, that he get past the puck instead of just scoring goals. Fairchild on 4 points is decent. And you can see Jaquezi only had the 1 goal in 4 games. So hopefully once he comes back, he could definitely help us out a little bit. Vandermeer with 9 assists in 9 games is great. Kyrou on 8 points is great, +9. Vernarski on 4 points, +6. Starlet with 1 assist and a +5. Louis Vara has only an assist and is -2, and Dennis Palin has really struggled. He's -6 through 9 games somehow. Oh, that's why he's complaining about his ice time. I don't understand why, though. I know he was the former #1 overall pick, but for some reason as an 84, he's listed as a top 2 defender. So he should be hypothetically getting as much ice time as Vandermeer, which is kind of crazy. That's an interesting one. How much years does he have left on his contract? 2 more seasons. There might be something we have to look at doing is maybe moving out Palin. I like Palin a lot. He's a really solid like shutdown kind of D-man. But for him to be listed as a top 2, getting him ice time on that top pairing is going to be tough. Like Vandermeer is definitely the guy that's going to be getting more ice time than anybody. So I don't really know what happens with Palin, but I'd like to hold on to him, but I think he needs to get way more ice time somehow. And I don't really know how I could do that because I don't want to put him on the power play. Goaltending-wise, Stanley King, 7-1 in the playoffs, but an .884 save percentage. So yeah, goaltending definitely hasn't been strong for this team, which is kind of weird. But other than that, everything else has been pretty damn solid. So there is that. The question is now, who are we going up against in the conference finals? Oh, it looks like Anaheim. I could already see Jaquezi is back. That's great to see. Let's get him into the lineup. Sorry to Cam, because even though Cam's been good, he's going to come back out of the lineup. So we'll get Jaquezi in. And we will obviously get Jaquezi up in the lineup back to where he was, which is, I think we were running Wilson technically on the 3rd line. Yeah, I don't want to put Wilson on the 3rd line though. He's been really good, but that might be the play. Because Eberle could stay where he is. He's been scoring a lot. Yeah, I think obviously the rest of this will just stay the same. And obviously we're going to go back to Stanley King for the next round. Okay. Yeah, with Jaquezi back in our lineup, that makes our team look a lot better. As you can see here, let me just take a look. Yeah, he's on the 2nd power play unit, and in penalty kill wise, he's back into that top pairing with Goldman, which hopefully gives us a better chance to play good defensively on that PK. Okay, so we're going to likely be playing Anaheim because it just said that they swept that 2nd round as well, just like us. What about in the East? Who do you have in the East? It is going to be, so us and Anaheim, we knew that. New Jersey and Boston. So I think Boston went to a Cup Finals recently in the series too because they have Kagorodov, right? New Jersey, obviously, like I said, we have their first round pick, so that's just getting later and later every single season, it seems like at this point. But that's okay. Every single round, I should say. But let's take a look at what the Anaheim Ducks are looking like. Let's take a look at how they simulated first, regular season-wise and playoff-wise. So if we go here to the Western Conference, make it a little bit easier. They were the third best team in the Western Conference, 4 points behind us. They scored actually more goals per game than us, so this is two high-flying offensive teams. We were much better defensively, though. Their power play was better by 0.4%, and their penalty kill was worse than ours. So, yeah, two high-flying offensive teams pretty much battling it out. Both teams had a lot of short-handed goals as well, and were pretty good in their last 10 games going into the playoffs. In terms of playoffs so far, how good have they been? Let's see. We are 8-1, they are 8-2. Okay, that's interesting. So they've been to like 5 games in both series, or 6-4. Actually, yeah, it would have been 6-4 because that second round was a sweep. So interesting. They're scoring less goals per game than us. They are much better defensively, though. That's interesting. So their defense has found itself in the playoffs. So that's a bit scary that they might be able to contain our offense, but we might not be able to contain theirs because we're not that great defensively so far here in this postseason. So a little bit nervous about their defensive play. Power play wise, we've been much better on the power play, but their penalty kill has definitely found itself in the playoffs too. So they are a much better defensive team at this point in time. Let's take a look at what Anaheim's looking like, because I don't know if we've played them in the playoffs recently. I don't feel like we have, but we might have. I just don't remember who's on their roster. Oh boy. Oh yeah, I think we might have played them recently. But top line, Zegers, Carlson, and Terry. Very good top line. I mean, Terry's 36 at this point, but still he's a really solid, useful player. And Zegers is 33 too. Second line, McTavish, Yanni Koivisto, and Ryder Ritchie. Very good second line. Like, that top six is pretty damn filthy for the most part. Ritchie a little bit weak, but obviously he could probably produce when he's next to players like that. Third line has Jose Climie. Yeah, Jose Climie. That's a weird name. Ty Dellandrea and Igor Sokolov. Pretty solid third line. And a fourth line of Justin Sordiff, Matthew Phillips, and Logan Cizik. Interesting. Yeah, it's a good forward core. I can see why they were good offensively in the regular season. From a defensive standpoint, yeah, I can see why they're a good defensive team playoff-wise and why they're probably getting good offense too from the back end. Mint Yukov and Drysdale is really good. Luno and Zellweger is pretty solid. And a top 6 pairing of Lapalainen and Braden Schneider. That top 6 is great too. That defensive core might be one of the best defensive cores I've seen from an AI team so far in this franchise mode. Goaltending wise, they have Gavin Curry and Justus Annunen. Wasn't Annunen our backup at one point? Yeah, he was. I thought so. He hasn't played in this playoffs so far, but still kind of funny to see Annunen back there again. How's Gavin Curry? 896 in the regular season, but a 937 or 930 save percentage, not a 937, a 930 save percentage through 10 games here in the playoffs. So Gavin Curry's been playing better than our two goalies for sure. And then depth-wise, they have Riley Height, Jack Thompson, and Daniel Lannon. So they have another Lannon on their team. So he must be related to the Lannon we have, which is interesting. So there is the Anaheim Ducks. And that's going to be a really tough task. Like, they have two very good centers, two very good left wingers, a very good right winger, and a solid right winger. And then their bottom six is decent. Their defense is fantastic. Their goaltending is just kind of what you need pretty much back there. Yeah, they're a good team. And obviously, like I said, winner of this series will face either New Jersey or Boston for the Stanley Cup. That's interesting. I think Boston was in the Cup Finals last year, though, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was 2 years ago at this point. But when we dealt Kagorodov, I'm pretty sure he went to the Cup Finals with the Bruins. The Devils, on the other hand, I don't think have any former players. They did have Perfetti at one point, but obviously they don't any longer. So that's kind of interesting. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the conference finals against a tough Anaheim Ducks team as we look to get ourselves to that Stanley Cup finals. And hopefully we can win a Stanley Cup this season. And if we don't, obviously, it's still a pretty good run considering this team obviously didn't do as well last year as they are doing this season. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.